All right. Sweet. Hey, thanks for jumping into today's team huddle. Probably the first or at least nearest one that we've gotten to start on time. But nonetheless, again, just want to start out by saying thanks to everyone who's been following along and tuning in for these, whether it's during the live session or afterwards. Again, just hope that it's been helpful in some way, and that that you're able to kind of take something away from it that's kind of helping your training, your situation, and your program or your routine during this time. So forgive me, I am trying to pull double duty, going Instagram and Facebook, just trying to connect with as many. Not to mention it's just back up on the recordings, so forgive me there, but trying to catch the comments as well. So we'll just jump straight into it. Today wanted to focus on routines and kind of some different things, different parts of your day to kind of get the routines, and then also different things that we can do to improve our not only well sorry before you improve it, you got to set the routine, and then maintain it, and of course you can refine it and improve it along the way. So yeah. I mean, the biggest thing, especially the biggest lesson for me around routines was just more around creating consistent performance, and also uh, allowing or providing the confidence going into that performance. Now, I say performance, and I think a lot of us in the sporting world are going to jump directly to games and competitions. But the thing that I've come to realize and really come to stress, especially with a lot of athletes, is performance goes well beyond the field, well beyond the court, and more importantly, the weight room. It goes into the classroom, into the office, and just every other part of our day, right? So one of the things that I've really focused on is, think about all the different tasks, all the different activities that you do throughout the day, and kind of what that pattern is, right? From what you do when you wake up to how you prep your breakfast, what you do during during meal times, and those sorts of things. And there was a conversation I had last week with an individual that really kind of brought this back around for me, because especially in these times, the isolation and whatnot, it's easy to understand that we can easily get knocked out of our routines. You don't have that, even if it's a 10-15 minute commute in the morning. That transition, that period of jumping in the car, getting out of the car, seems kind of mundane, seems routine, but uh, in our regular daily lives, that's still kind of a trigger for the next action. And getting kind of knocked out of that loop a little bit can really take us out of that. I know personally, I've experienced that. Um, I've experienced that because you don't have that trigger, so to speak, to say, oh, okay, my home task is done. I'm leaving the door. I'm pulling out of the garage, and I'm not going to think about home stuff or homework or home business until I come back that night. Now, for a lot of us, we're stuck at home all the time, so it's easy to start to maybe blend together those two worlds of home life, work life, and then of course our training and athletic life. It's all in the same environment, and so just kind of think about that when you start to notice yourself, or become aware of kind of falling victim to not being able to complete anything, losing focus or something like that. Think about what is that routine going into it. What is the precursor into that task? So, for example, conversation I had last week was around mealtime, right? The fact that your kitchen is your kitchen and it starts to look and feel the same. But even though you're at home, separate out, have a dedicated quote unquote lunch time, whether it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45, whatever you want to do. kind of set the standard or make the routine that, all right, when it's lunchtime, when I'm sitting down for a meal, leave your phone, leave your computer in the other room, because that's one of the key times that we can kind of overlap our daily tasks, right? That there is no me time anymore. It's we're constantly confronted by some sort of stimulus, emails, Instagram, technology, whatever the heck it is. But again, even if it's 15, 20 minutes, leaving your phone, trust me, there's probably not too many events that are going to be that dire need that it's going to require your attention within that 15 minutes, right? So leave your phone, leave your technology in the other room, and just sit for 15 minutes or whatever the time is, and just enjoy, be aware, be in the moment of eating that meal, right? And use that time to just kind of chill and recharge the mental batteries a little bit. Um, I mean, that's certainly one thing that you can do, right? I know a lot of folks. Oh, excuse me. A lot of folks are still staying in the habit of getting dressed, right? First thing in the morning, they put on a nice shirt, they put on nice pants or their business clothes, so to speak. Again, just as that routine of transitioning into the next task, the same way that you're not gonna leave class and go straight into practice. You're gonna have that transition time or that routine of changing into your workout clothes, right? To kind of indicate or signify that, all right, this is workout time. It's not school time or work time or whatever it is. Um, and then probably the biggest thing, probably the biggest area that we've emphasized at least most recently is at night, right, at bedtime. Um, so think about what is that routine. What are the things that I do that help me transition into that more restful period or more restful state. Again, we've mentioned numerous times about avoiding technology. At least 30 minutes, if you can make it an hour, great. But setting that routine to where okay, 9 o'clock, 9:30, TV's off, phone's on charge, and then start going through, whatever it is, your meal prep, your shower time, your shave time, setting out your clothes for the next day. All right, I'm sure a lot of us are thinking, well, I saved myself an hour a day because I'm not commuting, right? But that doesn't give you an extra hour to just kind of bum around. Still be committed, be dedicated to that time. So set out your clothes the night before, right? When you wake up in the morning, first thing, bam, change into whatever those clothes are, or whatever clothes you laid out. Again, so you start that routine, right? And you kind of stay on task. Uh, Other things, other areas to think about routines, obviously with your workouts, right? Stick to the same routine. For our workouts, right? It's always mobility, activation, and then into our strength, or sorry, into our speed, power, and then our strength. And even if it's body weight, we're still trying to follow that same pattern, right? So our body is still um, it is still developing in that same way that it was before. It's still getting the same stimulus and getting the same focal points that we targeted before, right? And then something else that we've discussed with other athletes is sticking to the same daily routine. So if Monday, Wednesday, Friday were your weight days and Tuesday, Thursday were conditioning days, stick to that. All right. Now, if you're in a situation that you don't have a lot of equipment, yeah, no doubt, lunges and push-ups and whatever, body weight exercise you can manage are going to get mundane after a while, but there's still some things you can do to kind of mix that up and kind of give you something fresh to think about and experience. But again, right, stick to that routine, and it doesn't mean just throw it out when it gets boring, right? Just make small adjustments to it. Um, the biggest thing, though, in regards to routines, the big, kind of key message that we wanted to share today is, let me take a had a refresh there. Um, the biggest thing about routines, right, is don't beat yourself up when you get off of it. You think about, we've all had friends or family or teammates or roommates or whoever it was. You're trying to start a new routine, a week and a half into it, they get off of it, they never get back on. All right. The key thing about routines is to understand and recognize that, yeah, you're going to get off of it sometimes, right? You're going to get off course. But the important thing is that you can easily get back on. Recognize those periods, and don't beat yourself up, right? Allow yourself the opportunity or the chance to go off, go off track a little bit. Sometimes that might be something as simple as saying, you know what, I'm a little. I notice myself getting a little bit kind of brain dead, of losing focus or whatever. Take one day and just say, you know what, today's a carefree day. I'm not following a schedule. I'm not following my scene. Whatever, just whatever you feel like, whatever you want to eat. Those sorts of things, right? Um, and then say, okay, but 24 hours from now, I'm back on track. It's not about saying, oh, well, I botched that one, forget it, scrap it up, throw it in the junk pile. No, just recognize what the trigger was that got you off. Maybe it was, you had a bad phone call, you got some extra news, or heard some extra stressful news, in the in the media or something like that, right? And just recognize that and say, okay, I understand where I got off. I understand what that trigger was, and now we can be more mindful of catching ourselves and getting ahead of that, next time. But again, I think at this stage, geez, I don't even know, we're 5 6 weeks into this whole isolation period, or whatever you want to call it. So at this point, it's hard to say that this isolation is an excuse, is a crutch to lean on for not being in the same routine that we have been, right? That we've definitely had plenty of time, plenty of opportunity to kind of adapt and readjust our routines to our current circumstances and current situations. Um, so that's the big message that we wanted to discuss and wanted to share for today is find those different areas, those different pockets, or times or tasks or whatever it is throughout your day that you can create routines. And again, right, just like you have your pregame ritual, listening to that one particular song at that one particular time or whatever it is, it's that constant that gives you the confidence going into whatever that task or that action is, right? In some cases, it might be, maybe drinking coffee before your workout, before your run, or pre-workout if that's what you prefer to use. But again, right, you can follow that same pattern in every other aspect, of your, not maybe not every other, but most other aspects of your daily life. Again, your meal prep, your bedtime, your wake up time. I know for me that, my morning routine of taking the dog outside while my tea's getting hot, and doing my studying and my reading, and then taking the dog for a walk. Like, being able to follow that routine just sets me up for some of the most productive and most successful mornings that I've had, during this period, and even well before that. It's the periods that I get out of that routine that I do notice that my focus is off, and I'm not, just not as mentally sharp. So again, right, start to segment out different parts of your house for different tasks. Again, commit to, hey, my phone or my computer is not going to the dining table when there's food present. Allow yourself that time to just, appreciate and enjoy, the food, right? Take in the flavors, and see if you can't notice any different flavors or textures that you hadn't noticed before. Um, Same thing, right? Commit to, 30 minutes or 45 or 1 hour, whatever it is that you can afford. Commit to that time, no technology before you go to bed. Commit to setting out your clothes, right? The routine of habit stacking, right? That it's not about going on a run in the morning. It's the fact that you set your clothes and your shoes right next to the bed. So that's the first thing that you do, which helps lead into that morning run or, morning stretch or evening stretch, whatever it is that you need. But yeah, and then other than that, stick to, keep the weekends as much as you can, right? Switch off and commit to doing your stuff, your personal stuff, the things that you enjoy. Do those on the weekends. That way, Monday through Friday still remains focused on or dedicated to your work. Because otherwise, too many people right now are talking about, hey, this is like Groundhog Day. Every day is like the same. Well, it shouldn't be. There's no reason that Saturday, and Sunday should be just like Tuesday, Wednesday, right? Because quite frankly, we should be able to, unless of course, your job demands it. Maybe you're in one of those very important, very critical first responder roles or something like that. But otherwise, if you kind of have a standard work situation, we should be able to to switch that off. Maybe you got to send one email, something like that. But again, all right, get back on track with your weekend routine. Whether it's family time, reading time, personal enjoyment time, something like that. And of course, if it's something that you feel like you've struggled with, that you're having a hard time kind of getting back in sync or something like that, hey, as always, reach out, send us an email, send us a direct message, a chat, something like that. Be more than happy to set up get on a call and kind of talk about what's going on, what's worked for other athletes, what can or could work best for you, and we'll keep pushing through this because at the end of the day, when all this is said and done, there's no reason why we can't or shouldn't be able to come out of this thing better equipped for whatever the quote unquote new norm is going to be. So yeah, so that's it for routines. Again, a lot of rambling here. I'm hungry for more feedback, folks. So drop some questions, drop some comments. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Any other ideas, suggestions about upcoming topics? Let me know. We're happy to take take requests, and we'll keep getting through it. So take care, and we will catch up with everyone on Thursday.